Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. You have tuned into the podcast of the Port Car Merchants. Only I think I'm going to stop calling it a podcast because mostly I'm just making YouTube videos. This is where we teach the port car method to men. The entire idea behind port cars started for me. By the way, my name is Ben Gall. I am the founder and CEO and chief bottle washer for the Port Car Merchants organization. This started for me many years ago. I have 4 daughters, and each of them has collectively, individually, come up to me and said, "Daddy, we're dating these what look like full-grown adult men, only they're little boys disguised as full-grown adult men." I have been a business owner, sales manager, marketing wonk. I've dealt with a lot of young men who simply needed some correction, some instruction, some idea of how to become and remain masculine. And that became kind of the basis for everything that I've been teaching and mentoring over the past 25 years. It has been a private calling. I've dealt with young sons-in-law, young boyfriends, nephews, and an awful lot of people who, through one method or another, discover me and ask me questions, and I've been doing this mentoring thing for no money for too long. So Port Car Merchants is my answer to that. I intend to teach men who are little boys disguised as adult men how to build and maintain their masculine frame. Then I'm going to take that masculine frame and I'll teach you how to turn it into genuine masculine dominance. Oh no, dominance. Yes, I'm talking about not being a pushover, not being someone who always says yes or feels guilty when he says no. Someone who remains on his path, serving his purpose. The byproduct of that, when you stop focusing on all the things that most young men focus on, which would be young women, when you stop focusing on that, it's kind of like the old parable about happiness is a butterfly. If you chase it, you'll never catch it. But if you sit down and do something interesting to you, it will come and land on your shoulder. Well, I'm here to tell you, my friend, women, quality women who will not lie, will not cheat. Well, now, yes, they will, and I'll get into that in a little bit. But those 8s, 9s, and 10s are desperately searching for adult, dominant males of the species. And they're testing whether or not you actually are who you say you are. I do not, will not ever, and have no intention of even thinking about pushing the pickup artist lifestyle. What I teach, what I give you, is the real deal of what most PUA is hoping to ape. It's what they feel will look like, sound like, feel like, act like the thing which women all want, the kind of man who they really want to stay with. The problem with the pickup is unless they ground you from day one in this is masculinity, this is how to be, for lack of a better word, an absolute caveman. They don't teach you that. They teach you scripts. They teach you tricks. They teach you neurolinguistic programming tricks. And I'm not against NLP. I'm just saying that's It's not the path to take to hit on women because, okay, let's say you land a really hot 9. One night, you're dressed right, you use the right toothpaste, your hair is perfect, you deliver the lines flawlessly, and you manage to score with a 9. Well, this is a 9 whose parents are still married, who has good credit, who doesn't carry a lot of debt, who's never been an OnlyFans model. This is the one. Only women, by their very nature, will not stop testing you after that first night. They can't. It is dialed into them to, well, basically women's job genetically is to weed weak men out from the gene pool. And the hotter they are, the higher quality they are, the better they are at testing. They have to be. So you, my handsome young friend, you land this girl using PUA technique, and then 2-3 days later, you can't understand why she's no longer answering your calls or returning your texts. Because you weren't the man you told her you were. You were just facade. And then there's the other side of the coin. You're a decent, upstanding, hardworking dude. You meet a girl. You guys hit it off. She moves in with you, marries you, gives you children. And for reasons beyond your ken, she leaves. She gets bored. She says, okay, I will always love you. I'm just not in love with you. And then she runs off and sleeps with guys that aren't 2% of who you are as an actual valuable quality human being. But they trip triggers in her which you have stopped tripping because society told you to be an agreeable, sweet, nice man who allowed her to win every argument and get everything she wanted and solve her problems and not be argumentative. Happy wife, happy life. Bullshit. You bought into it, not your fault. Dude, I am not holding either of those scenarios against you. You did what you were paying money to learn how to do, and you got the girl. Couldn't keep her, but you got her. Or you got the girl and you did all the things that society has been telling you to do to keep her, and you lost her anyway. You were cheated on, lied to, and you feel utterly betrayed. You think maybe, okay, well, she's just going through her crazy time, and when her sanity returns, she'll return to me. I get that, my friend. I get it. And I'm here to tell you, it's her nature and your fault. You allowed her to leave. You don't know how, and you're probably mad at me, and you might have just turned off the entire dude. No, I don't need to listen to this asshole. He's telling me it was my fault. I did everything right. Yes, you did. Everything right according to people who hadn't a fucking clue. And if you doubt me, why don't you still have her? You did all the things everyone was telling you to do. Why didn't it work? Well, because those aren't the things that work. Those are the things which sound nice, which come off as cool and societally conscientious, liberal, if I may. And they fail. I can get into the psychology of it. I won't today. I will later. This is just a hello, how you doing? Welcome to the Port Par Method. Now, we have written a small handful of PDFs, which we have available for sale. They're on the website. Link in the description. Go look, go see if there's anything that you might like to learn from, like why she cheats. Well, not only do we explain why she cheats, we give you all the psychological studies behind it and tell you how to stop it before it starts. My tagline, my promo, my entire reason to care. Never be lied to or cheated on again. That's my promise. You take what we teach, you make it part of who you are, and we give you all the tools and the skills and the practices and the and the work necessary. We have an almost too affordable mentoring program where you get to talk to myself or one of my colleagues for an hour, 4 times a month, very affordable pricing. In fact, I might even throw in, because I'm just launching this new channel, I might even make it less expensive. However, that's not the point. We give you the tools that you will never be lied to or cheated on again. And that's not just for the one night with the one girl and constantly having to go out and social proof and use the right text. No. It becomes part of who you are. Again, what I teach is not about getting women. It's not about negotiating better in a boardroom. It's not about owning your own business or being accomplished in so many of the things that a man should be accomplished in. That's not what I teach. What I teach is what makes all of those things just a byproduct of who you are. When you live in abundance, and I know you've heard this before, abundance versus scarcity. When you live in abundance, you don't have to go hunting. The flowers are there. You get to pick the one that appeals to you most. You don't have to go out and hunt for flowers. That's abundance. Scarcity is where, okay, I got to put in the right clothes. I got to say the right words. I got to have the right physical look. My face has to be the right physiognomy. I have to do all of the things that a hunter does, putting on the camo and carrying the right gun and getting in the blind. Well, that's nice, but wouldn't you rather just have the deer come to you? That's no longer hunting. That's just being picky and choosy. And what we teach, what I want you to gain as an adult male of the species, are the attitudes, aptitudes, and the advantages of being a genuinely masculinely dominant male human. And we'll talk about responsibility and why it's important. We'll talk about if you're thinking honesty is the best policy at all times, you're giving away your secrets and you will lose the war. I'm not against honesty. I think honesty is critical. I'm honest as often as I possibly can, but it even says in the Bible, don't let your left hand know what your right hand is up to. You have to be discreet. But, fellas, that's what we're doing. We have a mentoring program. We have PDFs, why she cheats, get her back. If you've stumbled into this YouTube video and you have suffered a rather devastating breakup, and I don't care if she was with you 3 months, 3 years, 3 decades, and she's running around with Chads, I can help you get her back. Or put you in such a frame of mind that getting her back is no longer your priority because hotter, younger, nicer, sweeter, more supportive and loving women are paying you way too much attention. That's what I sell. If you're interested, come to the website, leave me a comment, join our mentoring program. In fact, I'll even give you 15 minutes free on the phone with my own personal self to determine if you and I are a good fit. And if we are, you can enroll in the mentoring program. You get 4-hour-long calls a month, unless you want 4 in a week. You can stack them however our scheduling allows. I also have some options for emergency calls if you're in a panic, because I've had to take those from other men in the past. I figured we'd offer them here too. But guys, I'm here to help. If you want to never be lied to or cheated on again, contact me. We will help you. This has been Benjamin Gall with the Port Car Merchants, talking about teaching you the port car method. I hope you have an excellent day.